What's up, everybody, and welcome on back to the third episode of the My Side of Things podcast. It's your host, as always, Ash. We got a whole lot of things in the docket to get to today, including one AEW Revolution Recap, one of my favorite pay-per-views that I had seen in a very long time from start to finish, although a lot of people have a lot of mixed opinions on that finish, but we'll go ahead and get to that when we get to that. We're also going to be talking about who could dethrone each and every one of the AEW champions. We're going to be talking about the future of Ring of Honor as well, and what's currently going on with Ring of Honor too. We're going to be talking about the big triple threats that are going to be happening at Wrestlemania. Maybe both of them will be happening, but there's going to be Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk most likely, and Bianca Belair, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. Maybe, although there might be some funny business that could happen that I definitely want to get to because I'm going to be really upset if it does happen. Then we also got to end things off with a Jey Uso versus Gunther. Should it be the main event of night one of WrestleMania, or should they go in a different direction? But we're going to kick things off with the NXT Roadblock main event that happened because I got a whole lot to say about this. But first, if you're listening to this on Spotify, just know that there is a video version. If you want to see that version, click the description. You'll be able to find the link to the YouTube if you're on YouTube. If you want to listen to it on Spotify because you want to close your phone, go in the description. You'll find a link to the Spotify one. But let's go ahead and get on with this NXT Roadblock main event, shall we? Okay, so I did not want to come in here and be negative Nancy about this main event, but I don't understand why they went in the direction that I thought that they weren't going to go in. So if you didn't see NXT Roadblock, this is obviously the spoiler. If you heard the last episode, you probably already know what I'm kind of getting to. Stephanie Valkyrie is your very first ever NXT Women's Champion and NXT North America Champion, being your very first woman who is a double champion in NXT, unless you want to count Mandy Rose when she was the NXT Champion and NXT UK Champion, but technically they just combined those belts literally right after she won them. Like literally as soon as she got the belts, it was already combined. So yeah, they kind of just got rid of the NXT Women's Division at that point. But I'm going to go with Stephanie Valkyrie because I don't want to say Mandy Rose was the first one. But why did we do this? This was a horrible decision. Double champions are just never a good thing in my opinion. Don't give me Roman Reigns, okay? The double championship reign for Roman Reigns wasn't really good until after the World Heavyweight Championship got included. 2022 just sucked for Raw. You stifled the heck out of that division, and it was just the worst thing in the world. Raw was really, to be honest, Raw was super unwatchable. Like, the only thing there was Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, but Cody Rhodes was hurt for like the rest of the year. Judgment Day was kind of cooking, but they weren't anywhere near what they needed to be. And honestly, the division was just absolutely awful. Then you had Seth Rollins being the United States champion and like the WWE champion. Lost that belt very, very soon after beating John Cena for it. So yeah, I'm not a fan of double champions in my opinion, unless it's like a main card belt and a tag team belt, maybe. But even then, I think just stay away from the whole double champion thing. Unless you're like a champion for two different companies, I don't think it's ever worth it. But they decided to go this way, and I think this was obviously the worst thing in the world because you're stifling not only your main card, but also your mid card. And we have to remember that at least on the main roster, these are already developed, or at least mostly developed athletes. We're talking about NXT, where this is a developmental brand that is now a true developmental brand because a lot of its wrestlers are former NIL athletes. If you don't know what an NIL athlete is, it's basically a college athlete that was paid to, be on a college roster and all that stuff. It's usually like D1 and stuff like that. I don't think you need like D2s or D3s to do that. So a lot of these wrestlers, if you look at them, most of them, for the most part, wrestle very similar to each other. And the reason why is because they're still developing. They're in really the early stages. That's why I say someone like Tiffany Stratton is still really green right now, even though she's already on the main roster, because she was only in NXT for like a year and a half, 2 years. And before that, she wasn't a wrestler. I think she was, I want to say like she did gymnastics. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like gymnastics or something like that. But why would you want to have a double champion at this point? I could see a double champion way before. Like if Asuka was a double champion, that'd have been pretty cool. If one of the Four Horsemen was a double champion, that'd have been pretty cool. Maybe Paige be a double champion, that would have been pretty cool. But right now, where you have so much of like your future is really in the hands of Shawn Michaels, and your future of your main roster is also in the hands of NXT. Wouldn't you want to do everything to develop these women as much as possible? So you want to put them in championship matches. You want to put them with championship gold on them to see what you also have with them, to kind of see if you can also push them to that next level. Wouldn't you want to do that? And with Stephanie Valkyrie holding both of these belts, I'm afraid that they might book her like a Rhea Ripley, like a like how they're starting to do with Jade Cargill, like how they did with Roman Reigns, where they're just gonna make her an absolute monster, and they're gonna have her just running through the division to show her dominance, which I think is the worst possible decision. But I think she also beats Jordynne Grace at NXT Stand and Deliver, which Jordynne Grace did win a match against Roxanne Perez. That was in a number one contenders match to face either Giulia or Stephanie at Stand and Deliver. So if Jordynne Grace beats Stephanie Valcour, if Stephanie Valcour beats Jordynne Grace, then who the heck can actually beat Stephanie? Sure, you could always have Fallon Henley get back in that picture, but are you 100% sold on Fallon Henley? Does Fallon Henley move up to the main roster sooner than we thought? Because her and JC Jane, I feel, are already ready. JC Jane was there with Gigi Dolan before, and the only reason that she ever went back down to NXT was because Gigi ended up getting hurt. That kind of stifled like their whole run on the main roster. Because I felt at some point they might have even got those women's tag team championships, but sadly they didn't. Because like I said, Gigi got hurt. So are you going to keep Fallon there? Maybe you keep her there for like another year and you have her eventually dethrone Stephanie. I don't know though. I don't know if you want to go that way, because as much as I think Fallon is a pretty good wrestler, the first time around, I'm going to be real, Fatal Influence with the women's North American belt, it wasn't really hitting for me. I think maybe you even probably could disperse that group a lot sooner than we thought, because I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't really like it. I think another issue here, though, is why did you even have to make Stephanie a double champion to begin with? You easily could have just put the belt onto Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Championship to be specific, because she was owed a rematch. She could have easily cashed in her rematch. I know the rematch clause isn't technically used, but Rhea Ripley used it last year. LA Knight used it last year. Why couldn't you have Roxanne Perez use it this year and have Roxanne versus Giulia at one Roadblock and then have Roxanne dethrone her? And then you could have easily just had Roxanne go on to face Bayley at Stand and Deliver, which we know is supposed to be a match either at Stand and Deliver or at WrestleMania. Could have had it at Stand and Deliver, and then you could have had either one of them win. You could have had Roxanne beat Bayley and then like in 2 weeks lose to Jordynne Grace. You could have had Bayley win the belt and kind of stay down there for a while to help out the division, because she's not really going to be doing much on the main roster to begin with, unless she actually has a feud with Roxanne, which I don't even think we need to do that. We could easily transition into Roxanne versus Lyra, so we don't really need Bayley. I don't even know why this whole Bayley feud started to begin with. It was way too early. And sure, I did make a whole TikTok post about it saying that Roxanne and Bayley were going to be having a feud soon, and maybe maybe I spoke it into existence. I don't know, but it didn't need to happen. It really didn't. You could have waited down the line. I feel like you could have waited at least until Roxanne got to the main roster to push this whole dang feud, but whatever. But then, like, you ask, okay, well then what do you do with Jordynne Grace if she's not facing Stephanie Valcour? Jordynne Grace could have faced Stephanie Valcour just for the North American title, because you had Jada Parker beat Kelani, and she was calling out Stephanie and Giulia and all them. You have Fallon Henley, who's owed a rematch, who keeps bringing up the ring rematch clause, so clearly the rematch clause is a present thing. And you had Jordynne Grace, who was the new big signing. You put them on a triple threat. You have Jordynne Grace win. Maybe you have Jada Parker and Fallon Henley get into a little feud going in the Stand and Deliver. Then you have Jordynne Grace going against Stephanie Valcour. You have Roxanne versus Bayley. You have Jada Parker versus Fallon Henley, and now you actually have something to do at Stand and Deliver, because let's be real, a lot of us were worried about WrestleMania going into WrestleMania season, because nothing was really set up. That's how it's looking for Stand and Deliver right now. So I don't understand why you would want to do this. Why would you want to make Stephanie a double champion already when I just set up 3 easy feuds that I feel like NXT, there's no way if I thought about this that NXT didn't think about this. So I don't know, man. I think this is the worst possible decision. Sure, you could always have Stephanie just, lose the North American title at Stand and Deliver, but do you really want to have Stephanie lose the belt that she just got like 2 months before? Like, she got it in February. Do you want to have her lose it in April in like a women's ladder match, and then she goes on to face Jordynne Grace the exact same night? But apparently, though, because a lot of people said that she could have a ladder match, get beat up in that match. If she gets beat up in that match, how the heck do you sell Stephanie beating Jordynne Grace? Doesn't that make Jordynne Grace look a lot weaker? Unless you want to have, Stephanie win like on like a roll up and then Jordynne Grace turns heel. But I feel like if Jordynne Grace turns heel, then you got to kind of have her beat Stephanie the next time, because there's no way you can have her lose twice to Stephanie. Now that really hurts Jordynne Grace. And maybe you could have like Stephanie in like a multi-woman match or something like that. That just... It's the exact same thing. She's going to be worn out from that match. She goes on to face Jordan. She beats Jordan. I think you just really can only have Stephanie facing Jordan this year, and you just don't have your Women's North America title being defended. Or you go the Keith Lee route of things, and on the next NXT, you just have Stephanie Valkyrie just vacate the belt. I think that's a horrible decision, in my opinion. I would not go that route at all because, again, you're kind of just making the whole double champion thing pointless in a sense. So why would you really want to do that? It just seems really stupid, in my opinion. So I feel like you gotta hold this. You gotta hold the. You gotta do this now. You're all ready to put your foot in there. So now you gotta just hold it out for like at least until I would say around May. Like honestly, I think around May is when you could do this. Like you could have her drop one of the belts, and then you could have people start having like questioning of Stephanie Valkyrie. I think around this time we could possibly turn Stephanie Valkyrie to a heel and really start going at Guilia and calling out the whole roster and all that stuff, and just saying that like I was double champion around here, I was doing all this and that, even though I've been hurt the entire time. Where did Guilia go? Guilia got hurt, and what did she do? She left immediately. She's been gone for months, and then that sets up the Stephanie versus Guilia part 2, which could happen. I don't know. NXT No Mercy, NXT Stand Deliver, No Mercy, Heat Wave, wherever the heck you want to do it. I would love to see that. That could be a great way you go about things. I just think that this was not the way to go about it. And I also have a big conspiracy theory here. So we know that when it comes to shows doing better or things doing better than things that they shouldn't be doing better than, we know, especially during the Vince era, that a lot of times when SmackDown was doing better than Raw, Vince would grab those SmackDown guys and put them on Raw so that SmackDown takes a hit. Is TKO potentially doing the exact same thing here? Because I'm not going to blame Triple H every single time, okay? I'm going to throw TKO under the bus as well. Could TKO be looking at their WWE and NXT and saying, everybody's saying the NXT women division is the best division in wrestling, and it's very, very clear that it's a lot better than the main roster. Can we have this? We know we cannot. This looks absolutely stupid. Our developmental brands, the women's division, should not be better than our professional brands, women's division. You can't have that. It would be like some college team being better than a professional basketball team. It just wouldn't make any sense at all. That shouldn't be a plausible thing. Now, obviously, it's wrestling, so it's a bit different. Big signings, all that stuff. But could TKO be looking at it not from that last part and like actually understanding why NXT would be better and saying, you know what, we need to hit NXT so our women's roster on the main roster could be a lot better, so people talk about it more, so we continue to get more and more money from this. Because yes, sure, they will lose a little bit of money by stifling the women's division in NXT, but they're also going to get a lot more money by bigging up their women's roster on Raw, because once you stifle NXT's women's division, people are going to go back and talk about Raw's women's division and SmackDown women's division, which is going to be getting better and better. I feel like over these next couple of months with Io Sky now as a champion, potentially Bianca Belair, maybe you have Bianca versus Naomi. Like I had said, I think that feud could actually happen, and it could be a feud that is as great, in my opinion, as Toni Storm and Mariah May. You're going to have Charlotte Flair be the champion. If she becomes champion, maybe you do Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. Maybe you do Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch if she returns. Maybe you do Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss, etc., etc., etc. So I could see TKO having their hands in this and saying, yeah, no, we can't have the NXT be better than the main roster. We can't have Stand Deliver be anywhere near as good as the main roster, or even, potentially better than the main roster. So let's stifle that as well while we focus on our main roster, which I think also adds into this whole potential conspiracy theory that this has TKO written all over, and they're stifling NXT to big up the main roster so that it looks great going into WrestleMania, so that, everybody's more focused on it. But I will say, Stephanie Valkyrie and Jordynne Grace are going to tear the house down. I hope that there's a women's match that is better than that match, because if not, folks, they're going to still be talking about NXT, even if it did get stifled. And oh boy, don't let Stephanie Valkyrie be in 2 matches and like that first match actually cooks. Because, oh man, you're going to have a whole lot to live up to. But speaking of a whole lot to live up to, let's go on from this one on over to the AEW Revolution Recap. Now, look, I wasn't coming here and defend this AEW Revolution main event and say that I thought it was actually a pretty dang good main event, which I do still think that it's a pretty good dang main event. I understand why Jon Moxley took out Christian. I understand why Christian failed, because it goes there against everything that his kind of character goes against everything that Jon Moxley stands for. So having him win, or even not having him take the pin or take the submission in this match, would have meant that Christian gets another chance. And obviously Moxley doesn't have his guys anymore. He only has Wheeler Yuta, doesn't have Marina Shafir to potentially deal with Mother Wayne, doesn't have Pac and Claudio to deal with Nick and the other dude. I actually forgot his name. So you don't have the numbers game anymore, nor do you have the gender game anymore either. So taking out Christian, making sure that he does not get any more opportunities, makes so much sense. Going after Cope, that would have been pretty dumb, because then Christian would have got another opportunity. But if you leave Cope there, you can always defeat Cope later on. Cope has Jay White, and that's really it right now. But even Jay White and Cope's situation is kind of rocky in a sense, because of the fact that Jay White did take out Cope by accident, obviously. But now you got Jay White focused on the Owen Hart tournament. You have Will Ospreay focused on the Owen Hart tournament. And we've seen how Will Ospreay was before with Darby Allin, when Darby Allin tried asking for help. So you don't really have to worry about a Will Ospreay getting involved. You don't really have to worry about Jay White getting involved, because he's going to be so focused on the Owen Hart tournament. Swerve Strickland could potentially get involved, but now it's just 2-2 with you and Wheeler, so you're not the most worried. Swerve is one of the most dangerous men in AEW, so you do got to be worried about that. But it's not it's not the biggest thing in the world. Now, see. That's what I was going to see. Now I was ready to say all that. I was ready to defend this main event. That's until we literally got it confirmed tonight on Dynamite that Moxley and Cope are going to be having a street fight next week on Dynamite. What the heck was the point of not having Toni versus Mariah main event then? If you were already going to be having that match ran back, likely going to have it be a main event, why wouldn't you just give Toni and Mariah the main event? I've been defending this main event for the past few days now, ever since it happened before Wednesday's Dynamite. Because I had said, I was putting a bit of blame on Darby Allin. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of dislike for Darby Allin now, because I feel like he's the reason why this Death Rider storyline has not gone the way that it should have been, because this guy does not care about wrestling. He cares more about being a freaking thrill seeker. And I just, it actually irks me to my core that he is this way, because he's literally given an opportunity to be great, to be an AEW world champion. And apparently he just does not care. And I'm going to be real with you. That's the same exact way as the rest of them dang Death Riders, besides Jon Moxley. So anybody that's hating on Jon Moxley, let me say it right now, you gotta be the dumbest individual. And if that sounds wrong of me to say, but you gotta be the dumbest individual, because he's not the person to hate. He has been backpacking the storyline. He got the charisma, the mic, the ring, the everything. Claudio, trash. Pac, trash. Great wrestler though, but trash. Wheeler Yuta, basic NPC in a video game, trash. Marina Shafir, no dang charisma, trash. Every single person that was supposed to be a main player in this storyline has been given the opportunity to be in a groundbreaking faction, to be in a top tier faction, to be in one of the greatest storylines of all freaking time, on the likes of Bloodline, Bullet Club, Aces and Eights, Main Event, Evolution, Authority. They all said, let's be trash. Let's continue to be the same boring thing that we have been ever since we got into wrestling. This is why I've never really cared for Claudio. I've always thought he's been a boring individual, has zero charisma. For all y'all that said that, Cesaro could have been an AEW world champion. He could have dethroned Roman Reigns. No, the heck he could not. He has no charisma at all. Pac, he ain't been charismatic since the freaking King of the Cruiserweights thing. And even after that, he was boring. Wheeler Yuta, I already said, basic NPC. And Marina Shafir got let go from WWE for a reason, because she has less charisma than Ronda Rousey. Jon Moxley has been backpacking this dang storyline. So anybody that hates on him, you're just being dumb at this point by saying that he don't care about wrestling. This guy puts his freaking body on the line all the time. For saying that he can't talk on the mic, that his promos are boring. Buddy, you just hate the storyline. You don't hate Jon Moxley, because I guarantee when Jon Moxley's away from the storyline, all y'all gonna be meat riding again. So yes, I did have to go off a little bit right there, because I hate the fact that people have been hating on my guy Jon Moxley, and y'all gonna push him away from AEW. He is one of the best things for AEW. He came into AEW, put it on the map along with Chris Jericho, and you're gonna push him away, push him back on over to WWE, and then what? We're gonna lose Jon Moxley? Man, come on, bro. That's just one of the dumbest things in the world, in my opinion. It makes zero sense. I don't understand. I don't understand why you would do this. And it's funny too, because somebody made a great comment on my TikTok saying that Roman Reigns also got hated early on, and then look what happened. He started getting loved more and more. Now, I don't think Jon Moxley's storyline should go 3-4 years. I don't think that at all. But the fact that The fact that Jon Moxley is being hated when most people just can't see what the heck is the obvious thing here is so crazy in my opinion. You can hate on the main event all you want. You can hate on the Death Rider storyline all you want, but disrespecting Jon Moxley and discrediting the kind of wrestler he is, it's just a sick thing in my opinion. Y'all really do not know wrestling, or y'all just apparently just want to get likes and views, and that's what it really is, which is sad. Now, anyways, I was talking about Toni Storm, Mariah May. To that little man over there, Tony Khan, do you not care for women's wrestling? Do you not care for women's wrestling? Because this is the greatest freaking storyline that has ever happened in wrestling. You could talk about the bloodline. You could talk about Cody versus Roman. You could talk about the Authority. You could talk about John Cena versus The Rock, which I can't even believe somebody tried to say that John Cena versus The Rock even comes in comparison to Mariah May versus Toni Storm. But you could talk about John Cena versus The Rock if you wanted to. If you wanted to, you could talk about Cena versus Punk. You could talk about Cena versus Edge. It'd actually be a lot better, comparison. You could talk about any of the other storylines. I am saying that this Toni Storm, Mariah May storyline was the greatest freaking storyline that has ever been told. And even if you want to say it's not the best one ever been told, it is the best one that's ever been told in AEW. And I will not argue that. You can say Hangman Swerve. No. You can say MJF and Adam Cole. No, because of the horrible ending. You could say CM Punk and MJF. Sorry to tell you, buddy, but it's not better than Toni Storm and Mariah May. This should have been the main event. I don't know why Tony Khan didn't make it the main event. And I really just feel like what's going to happen is we're going to get a women's pay-per-view. A women's main event to be a pay-per-view, but it's going to be because a freaking ex-WWE star came in, and it's just the exact same thing that MJF has said. I guarantee you, if I was an ex-WWE star, you would treat me so much better, which is the freaking truth, and I hate it so much. Because it's starting to feel like that's more and more the truth now, that Tony Khan just is not going to give his guys the dang main event. I mean, especially in the women's division, because he did that so long in the men's division. Literally had Chris Jericho be the first AEW World Champion when it should have been Kenny Omega or Hangman Adam Page, in my opinion. I don't understand why it had to be Chris Jericho. You made Jon Moxley the first three-time AEW World Champion. Again, I love Jon Moxley. That's my guy and all. Didn't need to be the first one, even though he was, backpacking the company for it. Well, not backpacking, but he was definitely pushing AEW to be like just through the stratosphere. I have to take a deep breath for a second. I'm getting a little worked up. But why? Why is it that Toni versus Mariah could not be the main event of Revolution? Literally would have made so much sense, because it would have been a woman's revolution in a sense by having them be the main event. This was such an amazing story, and I hate the fact that the match did in the way it did, because apparently Mariah May got hurt in this match, so that's why it was a lot shorter than it really should have been. So I hate that. And look it, man, I hope it's not going to be a case of let's say Becky Lynch comes to AEW and they're like, oh, we have Becky, we have Mercedes. They never had wait, Becky and Mercedes did. Yeah, no, Becky and Bayley never did. But they're like, oh, we have Becky, we have Mercedes, main event of All In. Bruh, are you serious? Because it could be like a trash story, or it could be like a decent storyline, because it won't be trash. It could be like a decent storyline. They'll be like, yeah, no, that's the main event right there, because Becky Lynch is from WWE, and she's a super duper mega star. I really, really hope that does not happen. I hope that it's still Toni. Maybe it could be Toni and Athena. I would really love to see that. I hope it's not Mercedes versus Athena, because it kind of just plays into the whole ex-WWE star got to be the dang main event before Toni is an ex-WWE wrestler as well, but she's not a star over there, okay? She literally had to walk out within a few months because the company didn't even know what the heck to do with her. And Mariah May was from Stardom. You really built up both of these women. Although, again, Mariah May, Stardom, so she kind of built herself up a bit. But she became a superstar in AEW a lot more than she was in Stardom. So it just really sucks, man. It really, really sucks that I don't know what it's going to take for the woman to get a main event. I really don't, and I think it's going to be what I don't want it to be. It's going to be a ex-WWE star comes over to AEW, and that's how we get a main event. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I'm going to be sick to my stomach when I see the day that it happens, and we're all going to just have to deal with it, because unless I don't even know, because there's no way you're getting okay. It's always possible that you could have another storyline be as big as this one, because we have great storylines all the time. We have iconic storylines all the time, and then we have another iconic storyline like Evolution. Evolution, amazing, iconic. Authority, amazing, iconic. Bloodline, amazing, iconic. But look at the span that these take place in. It's like a good 10 years. So you're telling me within the next maybe 10 years that we're going to get a women's pay-per-view to finally main event? That is sad, in my opinion. That is sad. I mean, a woman's pay-per-view, a woman's main event to a woman to main event the pay-per-view. There we go. That's just sad, in my opinion. We can't do this because look at WWE. They took so long to do it because they came out like way early 2000s. AEW came out in 2019. We should already understand by this point that women are equal to men, and it should not be a thing if we have to wait 5-6 years to get a woman's pay-per-view to be the main event. I mean, a woman to main event the dang pay-per-view, that should not be the case. That really shouldn't. We should be having an equal amount of women main eventing dynamites and collisions. I just, it's so annoying to me because I have to see weekly Daniel Garcia main eventing freaking Collision, and I'm sorry to say this, Daniel Garcia is freaking boring. This dude is a snooze fest, man. I do not care for Daniel Garcia at all, but yet I don't get to see Mercedes Moné, who's actually an interesting wrestler who has a lot more charisma than him, main event a lot of Dynamites. I think the last time she main evented Dynamite was against was that against Yuka Sakazaki? I think it might have been for like the TBS Championship. Or, yeah, I think it was actually against Yuka Sakazaki for the TBS Championship. But that might have been Collision, to be honest. But why do I not get to see the women main eventing the shows more? Why do I have to freaking see Daniel Garcia main eventing TNT dang near every single dang week, but I can't see Mercedes main eventing the TBS shows? Like, I mean, not TNT, main eventing Collision with the TNT Championship, but I don't get to see Mercedes Moné doing that. It's just, it's so infuriating, man. It really, really is, because the women have just been absolutely killing wrestling over the past few years now. I've said before that in WWE 2024, Nia Jax had the best reign. It was not any one of the men in NXT. Roxanne has been backpacking that company. She had the best championship reign. I'm sorry, I love Fraction. It was not Fraction, and it was not Oba, and it definitely was not Trick Williams or Ethan Page either. You have AEW, where the best storyline that was carrying 2024 was Toni Storm and Mariah May. When a lot of people say that 2024 was a down year, everybody always says, with the exception of Toni Storm and Mariah May. Athena has been carrying Ring of Honor, literally backpacking. We got to get this woman a new back by the time she's done, because, oh my gosh, I know that thing has just gone to dirt. You had Jordan Grace carrying TNA on her dang back, another woman who deserves every single thing. Maybe she should have been the first freaking double champion in NXT, for crying out loud. You have all these big signings. Who are the big name signings? Stephanie, fantastic wrestler. Julia, fantastic wrestler. Jordan Grace, fantastic wrestler. Who are these dudes that got signed? Ethan Page, get out of here. Look at, man, I like Ethan Page, but he was not on their level. Ricky Saints, not on their level. Oh, Jay Cargill, though, super duper megastar. So it's just, oh man, I don't know what it's gonna take. I really don't know what it's going to take, y'all. I hate this too, because I love women's wrestling, man. For the people that just like clown on women's wrestling and say that women can't wrestle, or that they don't care because they're women, or that they don't want to see women wrestlers. First of all, I'm going to be real with you. A few folk have actually been saying this, have been saying a few slurs to me over the past few weeks. Now, these be the same folks that be in my comment section saying that they don't want to watch women wrestlers, but you calling me the F slur, which the FAG slur, to throw that out there. Yeah, you call me that slur, but you don't want to see women's wrestlers. Oh, so you want to see a bunch of dudes in underwear, but you don't want to see a bunch of women in underwear? Interesting, but okay, man. Who? Oh man. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on that one. But yeah, no, I love women's wrestling so much, man. I always have. Paige, one of my favorite wrestlers. AJ Lee, one of my favorite wrestlers. Lita, one of my favorite wrestlers. Mercedes Moné, one of my favorite wrestlers. Like, literally, these women are all like in like my top 5. Like, I don't separate my men's and my women. They're just in my top 5 in general, man. The only dude in my top 5 is literally Edge. But yeah, no, these are like literally my favorite wrestlers of all time, man. And it's just AJ Lee. I mean, no. Let's start it off right. Chyna did her thing. Trish and Lita did their thing. AJ Lee did her thing. Paige did her thing. The Four Horsewomen did their thing. Toni Storm and Mariah May did their thing. But man, oh man, like AEW, low key, as much as I love it, it feels like old school WWE, where it's like Trish and Lita have this top tier storyline, and it does not get to get any kind of main events or anything like that. Toni Storm and Mariah May had this top tier storyline, and all they get to main event is a dang special, because it was in Toni Storm's home, and you weren't going to have Kazuchika Okada versus freaking Buddy Matthews be the main event. You weren't going to have Harley Cameron versus Mercedes Moné be the main event, although I felt like it could have at least opened the show. That would have been really nice to see. But the only reason they felt like they had it was because it was in Toni Storm's home. I hate that so much. Okay, enough of that rant, though. Speaking of people that were at their homes, we got to see Brody King versus Kazuchika Okada, a match that, like the Kenny Omega, Konosuke, not Konosuke, I almost called him what freaking Tony Khan be calling them, Konosuke Takeshita, two matches that I thought really didn't live up to the height that they were kind of setting up to be. I feel like Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King should have just happened on Dynamite this past week. Kind of was a flat show in my opinion. Well, not a flat show by any means. It was a pretty good show, but I feel like the main event just did not need to be Orange Cassidy versus Jericho. It could have been Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King. You could have had the Continental match happen there instead. You could have probably put a different match onto the show. I feel like Megan Bang versus Chris Statlander could have been there. We're going back to women's wrestling, man. We're going right back to women's wrestling. You could have had Kenny Omega. Then Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita, I felt like was also a pretty just spot fest kind of match. And what I mean more so by a spot fest is not like they were just picking spots and all that. More so it was Konosuke Takeshita targeting spots on Kenny Omega, meaning just his abdomen the entire time. And I'm like, bro, there's no way we're doing the Bryan Danielson treatment right here now with this diverticulitis, where we're just gonna keep targeting the same thing for the rest of Kenny Omega's career. We're always gonna be, hey, just go to the midsection, go to the midsection, go to the midsection. Like we don't need to do this. And I feel like that really kind of just made the match not as hyped up as it really should have been. I thought it could have been a whole lot better had they, really just went out there and just put on a 5-star classic like I know Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita could do, because that's just the kind of guys they are. But I really am excited seeing what's going to happen going forward. We're going to be having Konosuke Takeshita. Not Konosuke Takeshita. We're going to be having Kenny Omega face the winner of this international tournament at Dynasty. I'm assuming it's going to be either Speedball or it's going to be Ricochet. I would like it for it to be Ricochet, though. I think Ricochet versus Kenny Omega would be a fantastic match. We're also going to be keeping Ricochet in the light. And we're also going to be having Swerve at Dynasty as well, which is interesting because I did not think that Swerve versus Moxley was going to be happening at Dynasty. I thought it could potentially be a Double or Nothing, but I think they're going to go a way that I've been thinking about for a minute now, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But Swerve and Ricochet put on an absolutely phenomenal match. That one in the Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay match, just match of the years in my opinion. Those were 5-star classics right there. Just oh my gosh, man. When I was watching the Kyle Fletcher, I keep saying Kenny Omega, the Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay match. I really just want a Kyle Fletcher, Kenny Omega match, apparently. Somebody said I laugh like Goku, and every time I laugh now, it just makes me want to laugh more. Oh, man. Hey, it's me, Goku. But the Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay match was just absolutely phenomenal. I was super scared of watching that match, man. I really got a bone to pick with that boy, Mark Davis, which he also might win the international tournament as well to face Kenny Omega to kind of further that storyline a bit. But I was really scared because I saw that Spanish fly off the top of the steel cage, and I just did not think that it was going to go as well. No, I saw it coming. I just didn't think it was going to go as well as I thought it was going to go. I had my eyes covered and all that. I was peeking through a little bit, though. I was like, let me see if they're going to die. Hopefully they don't die. And thankfully they did not die because, oh my goodness, man, I was just so worried that something bad was going to happen. And then Mark Davis coming in the match. Mark Davis came in before that, and he was getting involved, brought this whole bat with a steel, with like a barbed wire in it, brought the whole bag in there with the tacks and everything, and he had the Styles Clash onto the tacks, and I really feel bad for Kyle Fletcher's no areas. Same for Toni Storm, by the way. She had a champagne bottle. Apparently, as she said, she had a glass up her ass. I thought it was the baby maker, so thankfully it wasn't the baby maker, I guess. But then again, like it's actually pretty close. So she probably had a little bit of glass up there as well. When I seen that happen, I immediately wanted to throw up. That was a bloody hell of a match. No pun intended. But yeah, Swerve and Ricochet just tore the house down. I keep saying Kenny. Y'all, I really want this Kenny Omega Ricochet match. Ricochet. I want Kenny Omega versus Kyle Fletcher at some point this year, man, because, oh my gosh, I just keep saying it. When I get the match, you better tear the house down, man. I'm telling you right now, when we get that match, man, we're going to have a whole episode just about Kenny Omega and Kyle Fletcher. I'm going to be doing a little play-by-play breakdown. But no, Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, Ricochet tore the house down. Matches of the year, in my opinion. The main event, I kind of already spoke on that. I was not mad at it, but now in hindsight, I am mad at it because of the fact that Toni versus Mariah should have main evented. But I do have like a few extra little things I want to say about this. So first off, we got to talk about who is hurt more by their loss. Is it Kyle Fletcher, Ricochet, or Takeshita? Because tonight on Dynamite, we've seen that Takeshita is turning babyface, potentially getting away from the Don Callis family. Because he did go out there against Platinum Max Caster, and everybody that has gone out there has been baby faces. Or I guess faces in a sense. Baby face and face aren't technically the same term. So are we turning Konosuke Takeshita face already after just the one loss? I thought he was just going to go to like Japan for a while and kind of just work over there and then come back when he was needed a bit more, when there was a bit more of a storyline for him. I thought you were going to have some like internal turmoil with the whole Don Callis family. If you had Takeshita and you had Kyle Fletcher lose the match, I thought like maybe they added another member, maybe somebody gets maybe we would have got a potential Kyle Fletcher Konosuke Takeshita feud. Maybe it still happens. I don't know. If that was going to happen, though, then I would have had Konosuke Takeshita blaming Kyle Fletcher, not the other way around. I would have had Konosuke Takeshita going at Kyle Fletcher and being like, it's because of you that I was put into that match to begin with. I don't really know. It was weird, in my opinion, what's going on with this whole thing right now with the Don Callis family. We didn't even see Don Callis tonight. We always seen with like Lance Archer and Brian Cage, and I mean, yeah, they came out for like something. I forgot exactly what they came out for, to be honest. They came out at some point though. But yeah, no, I don't know what's really going to be going on with those guys. I think Kyle Fletcher has a chance to go to Ring of Honor though and be the proto star there, eventually get the Ring of Honor championship and kind of do like how Athena's doing, where, you know, she looks like an absolute superstar right now because she's not having to be like in the women's division on AEW, where maybe she doesn't get as long of a run with the belt because of the fact that you have all these other stars that you really want to push. Maybe you can have him go to Ring of Honor, do a similar thing to that, to where he's able to have like a year 2 year reign with the belt. You saw something that was a year too long with that Roman Reigns reign. Oh my goodness, should have lost to Cody at WrestleMania 39, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, maybe like a 2 year run with the Ring of Honor Championship, and then eventually get back up to the main roster, which, by the way, they are basically saying, they're basically confirming that Ring of Honor is becoming NXT without confirming it. So I am pretty interested in that. That's why I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, you know, it was just, it's weird what's going on with Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. Maybe they're setting up to a feud between these two. I do think the one that's hurt by this the most is Konosuke Takeshita, because of the fact that I don't really know what he does going forward as a face. I mean, as a heel, I seen a route there with him and Kyle Fletcher having a feud, but as a face, what the heck is Kyle Fletcher gonna blame him for? Like, I mean, getting him into a match? You were going to be in that match regardless. Takeshita was never going to be in an international match. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. Maybe you do Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis. Ricochet has obviously a path right now at the International Cup. I think he's going to be a guy to go against Kenny Omega. Maybe he goes against him twice. Although I think Kenny Omega is probably going to go against Kazuchika Okada at Double or Nothing for both the belts. So there is that. I'm going with Takeshita though. I feel like he's like the one that's just the most lost here, because without a manager, Takeshita's English, don't get me wrong, is pretty dang good, but without a manager, I feel like he just becomes like another guy on the roster that's like just a super amazing wrestler, but because the language barrier is there, he can't really cut promos the most. Again, his English is not actually that bad at all. I feel like it's gotten better and better over time. Of the people who have like a language barrier in wrestling right now, like I feel like he's one of the ones who's the least affected by it, because his English is pretty dang good. He's able to do his thing on the mic. So yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. Takeshita has a weird future right now. He's kind of in a similar sense, like when I talked about Mariah May and like the potential injury, this was actually a blessing in disguise for her, because I don't know what the heck Mariah May was going to do for the rest of 2025 had she actually been there, because you're not getting into a feud with Mercedes Moné anytime soon, because as confirmed tonight, and as I said before, Mercedes Moné is going against Athena, so you're not doing that. You're not doing Toni Storm and Mariah again. We don't need a part 4, and if we did part 4, it better freaking main event, or me and Toni are going to have a real serious problem. So yeah, I don't know what you were gonna do with Mariah May. So her injury was kind of a blessing in disguise, because if she did tear her quad, she likely won't be back until like late September, maybe early 2026. I think like at the latest she'd be back probably like, it's like a 6 to 8 month injury. It's March right now, February. What the April, May, June, July, August, September. That would be like around late September, October, November. I think they would rest her until like probably 2026, because you really wouldn't need her back this year. So yeah, I mean, she has that route, but Takeshita, he has nothing. I guess I could have thrown him into this. I said that, and I started thinking, oh my gosh, I'm glad that my nose is actually stuffed up and I just like breathed in right there. Not stuffed up, but like, it's kind of like stuffed up, because if I didn't, I would have had like a crazy snort right now. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I guess I could have thrown Mariah May into this as well, because, well, no, my bad. The reason I didn't throw her into this is because she did get hurt, so we don't have to worry about it for the rest of 2025. You can go back 2026 and get into either the TBS title or the world title picture. I don't think Toni Storm is going to hold it all the way until like 2026. We're going to likely have her lose it to well, we'll talk about that in a second, because I do have a pick. And like Mercedes Moné is likely not holding it until 2026 either. I think she loses that belt too, and until we'll talk about it in a second. Which then Mariah May could potentially come back next year, get one of those belts. They look like they're also kind of pushing that tag division as well. We got Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne, Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale seeming to work together now. Maybe we got a few things. We also have like the Outcast as well. I think it's their name. No, the Vendetta, something, I don't know. So maybe Verbrava, I don't know, one or two. Mega Flygon in Pokemon Legends Argard. I don't know. But we have them as well. So we have a few teams there. Maybe we bring Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May back. I know that they did kind of feud. They didn't kind of feud. They definitely did feud. But maybe like Mariah May's twisted now. She's a heel. You have Mina Shirakawa twisted now. You turn her into a heel. Have them working together as like this twisted, psychotic tag team that just comes and runs rampant through the women's tag division to really boost those tag titles. You can always do that. And I think they would absolutely just tear the house down as a tag team, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't really know what to do with Takeshita going forward. So I hope he doesn't get lost in the sauce, because I said before that Takeshita is a pillar. He is a guy that could be one of your top stars going forward in AEW. I think he's a future AEW world champion. I don't know what it is about Takeshita, but he just looks so cool, man. Like, every time I see the dude and I see him with gold, he just looks so freaking cool, man. It's like Edge's voice. I think Edge has one of like the greatest voices that, like, every time I hear him on the mic, I just want to listen, because he has such an amazing voice. Same thing with Jay White. Same thing with Roman Reigns. Same thing with Swerve Strickland. Same thing with MJF. And I feel like Konosuke Takeshita just has like that look. Like, he's a guy that I just want to see gold on, that I would want to see a belt collector kind of thing going on, because he looks cool. He just looks cool. But speaking of Jay White, well, I guess I kind of already answered that question for myself earlier, because I actually had this written down. Funny enough, I had this written down before I watched Dynamite, but I had to actually re-record this episode because something happened to the episode. Something happened to the dang recording, so I had to talk about this all over again. It's currently 11:45 at night. But I was going to talk about this before with what's next for Will Ospreay and Jay White. Obviously, now we have the Owen Hart tournament, so that's going to, hold things off for a bit. But I'm still kind of worried on both of their futures, because I think there's a real world where Swerve Strickland does dethrone Jon Moxley. If that's the case, there's no way Swerve Strickland is losing the belt to Will Ospreay or Jay White anytime soon, at least. But if he doesn't win the belt, then I could see one of these guys potentially going after Jon Moxley to be the savior of AEW. But if you don't have, let's go in the realm that we have Swerve Strickland winning, or let's go in the realm that Darby Allin is still the plan. What the heck do you do with Will Ospreay and Jay White going forward? Because I feel like Jay White's only possible route is getting either the now or the potential unified belt, if they actually do unify the belt. It's kind of weird if they're going to unify them or not. But potentially getting that unified belt, or you have him go for the TNT championship and get the TNT championship, then you have the Guns there and they get the tag team champions, and you turn them back into the Bullet Club Gold because they got gold now. I think that's the only real route for him. It's that route. It's that route. The potential Intercontinental Championship. That's what they decide to call it. But that's really it, unless you want to put him in some feud. But I think it's time to start putting some gold on the Jay White. I think it's been long enough now. I don't think he's actually held gold in AEW. So it's about time we get some dang gold on him. Will Ospreay, I think the only route for this dude, if he does not win the Owen Hart tournament, is to have him get that unified Intercontinental Championship. There's literally nothing else you could do with this guy. You're not the feud is closed with Kyle Fletcher. You're probably not gonna hold a Mark Davis feud that long. Like, if you realistically did do a Mark Davis feud, like let's say Will Ospreay loses the Owen Hart tournament because of Mark Davis, feuds with him. He's probably feuding with him for like a month. It's Mark Davis, man. I like Mark Davis, but this guy has the most basic name in the world, man. He has one of the most basic looks. You're not putting one of your top stars into a feud with somebody for like 3-4 months. That's super NPC-esque Willer Yuta type beat. Like, we're not doing this. No. We're having Will Ospreay be in big picture. So it's really just the potential unified belt. If you want to do that, I think he could be a guy that if Kenny Omega does get that belt, or Kazuchika Okada gets the belt, I think Will Ospreay would be the guy to dethrone one of those two. More likely he would dethrone Kenny Omega at All In than it is likely that he would dethrone Kazuchika Okada there. So maybe somebody else has a match with Okada at All In instead of why do I keep saying Kenny Omega's name? Oh my god, dude, am I in love with Kenny Omega? I'm starting to believe that I'm in love with Kenny Omega, which is crazy because I was in love with LeBron and my girl. So yeah, I don't. My girl gonna hear this and be like, why was I second? Baby, it's LeBron. Hey man, shout out to my dog LeBron, man. Shout out to my Bron. It's my Bron right there. You are my sunshine. She's got to understand. But I guess Kenny Omega is now third on this list of people that I'm in love with. I don't know, man. But what was I even saying? Oh, Will Ospreay, I think, is more likely to defeat Kenny Omega than he is likely to defeat Kazuchika Okada, because of the fact that Okada is just a bit younger than Omega, and I feel like he has he has probably about like 4 or 5 more years left of being like one of those like championship level contenders in AEW, while Kenny Omega's probably like on like the decline at this point. I think he's someone that could lose the belt, and that's fine. At that point, I think you could have Kenny Omega go and just kind of like work Ring of Honor, and more so what I guess I should word that better. He could go to Ring of Honor and be like a GM there of sorts, or he could be like, of sorts, or he could be like a GM of AEW. I kind of like those characters, man, and I wish that, AEW would have a GM, like how TNA has Santino Morello, you have WWE with Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, you have NXT with Ava Moreno. I would like to see AEW incorporate something of sorts. I think it would it's kind of copying WWE and TNA in a sense, but who cares, man? It's just a little thing like a GM, right? It's not that big of a deal. I'm going to be honest with you. There are multiple sports teams that have GMs that are very present. Is wrestling copying these GMs? Is wrestling copying these sports leagues? No, I don't have a problem with it at all. But speaking of that whole AEW World Championship picture, let's go ahead and talk about who is going to be dethroning each and every one of the AEW World Champions. All right, so let's go ahead and work our way from the bottom to the top, and I hate to call it the bottom, even though I do compare the tag team championships to like the 1-1A with like the World Championships, because they're like their own separate like entity in a sense, not entity, like division in a sense. But let's start with the bottom with the tag team championships, because this is probably the most interesting one. I think there's a few ways you can go about this. You can go with the Hounds of Hell, or you can go with the Guns. You could potentially go with Undisputed Kingdom's Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, and honestly, that's a direction I'm gonna go with. I like the Hounds of Hell winning if you eventually put Julia Hart with some gold, or if you have Julia Hart really be shown to be the leader of the group, and these are like her hounds and she's like the witch from hell, and you really run with that gimmick. I would absolutely love that, but I don't know if they're gonna do that just yet, especially with the way they've been booking the Hounds of Hell as of recent. I don't really know what's going to be happening with this group. The Guns is an interesting one because I said earlier you could have Jay White potentially get some gold on him, and then you have the Guns get some gold as well. Maybe Juice Robinson get some gold too, and they return to being Bullet Club Gold. I would love that. I would really, really love that because I absolutely love Bullet Club Gold, especially that entrance. One of my favorite entrances in freaking wrestling. It's such an awesome entrance. But I don't think they're going to go in that direction. I think they're going to go with Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. And the reason why is because I think Adam Cole is going to dethrone the TNT champion of Daniel Garcia. I think the writing's on the wall now for Daniel. It's been a nice run. He's been defending it a lot. I like what he's been doing with it, but I think it's about time that we get story time with Adam Cole, baby. I need to see more of this, man. I miss it, man. It's just so fun. But I think Adam Cole has everything to be a top guy. He is literally world champion, face of the company material. It's just that he can't stay healthy. So you put the TNT championship on him, like one of your lesser championships, but at least you're doing something with Adam Cole, though. You're not just kind of wasting him away. And then you have Undisputed Kingdom with some gold as well, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. And you really just kind of push Undisputed Kingdom a bit more and show that we are invested in this group, that we do see a lot of the potential with this group, that the same way y'all really love this group, we also really love this group as well. And I think this would be perfect for them to get this gold. I think they'd be able to do amazing things with it. We still have Roderick Strong doing the whole Adam, which I absolutely love, by the way. And we have Kyle O'Reilly just being a pretty cool dude, even though he was having issues with Adam Cole for a while. But if we did go the way of the Hounds of Hell getting it, then I would love to see the Hounds of Hell getting a tag team gold and seeing Julia be the TBS champion. I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. Put her back in some title pictures. I think she's a phenomenal wrestler. She plays the character really dang well, and her mic skills are pretty good too. But like I said, I don't think they're gonna go in that direction though. So my two potentials to dethrone Mercedes Moné are Megan Bayne and Willow Nightingale. Now after tonight, Megan Bayne's gonna be getting that AEW Women's World Championship picture. Her and Toni Storm are gonna tear the house down. It's gonna be a phenomenal match. I think even the feud's gonna be pretty good as well. And Toni Storm could carry the feud because Megan's not. We haven't really even seen what the heck she's like on the mic. But I think Toni Storm is going to be able to carry his feud, and it's just fine because Toni Storm is just a natural carrier. She is just such an amazing character worker that Megan Bayne doesn't really even have to say much during this feud, and it's gonna cook, man. But I think Megan Bayne could do a similar thing with Mercedes Moné, where she could be, getting kind of carried in the feud in terms of the story, but then, she does absolutely phenomenal in the matches. And I think Mercedes Moné versus Powerhouses is just like, it's like just water and rice. It goes together because you're supposed to do that. You need water for the rice. If you want to cook the rice, you need the water. You ain't going to use anything else. If you want to have Mercedes Moné be in a match, you put her against powerhouses. You have a powerhouse and you want to put her in a phenomenal 5-star match, you go against Mercedes Moné because, oh my gosh, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I did forget to talk about that Mercedes Moné Momo Watanabe match, by the way, and the MJF Hangman Adam Page match as well. I'm gonna get to those in a second after this. But yeah, no, I think Megan Bayne is the more likely choice for me, but Willow Nightingale I think could be somebody that, if they start doing it, maybe her and Chris Statlander become the very first AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. I would love to see that. I think it'd be incredible for Willow Nightingale. But then we also got to start putting her back into some singles gold as well. If they ever do lose into Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May, or whenever they do, like whoever they lose them to, I want to see Willow Nightingale getting some dang singles gold on her because she's absolutely phenomenal. But I'm gonna go with Megan Bayne. Now, we'll continue this. With Kazuchika Okada, I already said it. He loses to Kenny Omega. I think Kenny Omega is a guy to unify the belts. And then, like I said, with Kenny Omega loses that belt to Will Ospreay. I think it just makes so much sense. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega are going to tear the house down. We're not going to get Will Ospreay targeting Kenny Omega's abdomen the entire time. He might do it a little bit throughout the match, not the entire time. Just like Kenny Omega probably target the neck, but not the entire time. But we're going to get a phenomenal match between these guys, and we're gonna get a solid finish this. We're going to get a clean finish this time, unlike the match that they had in 2023, where it was some little funny business going on. But I think this match is going to just be an absolute classic 5-star, like every single Will Ospreay Kenny Omega match has been. And then going on to Toni Storm, I want to see her get dethroned by Athena. I want to see Athena lose that Ring of Honor belt to Mercedes Moné, let her be 5 belts Moné, and then we have Toni Storm get dethroned by Athena. I don't want to see her get dethroned by Mariah May. I don't want to see her get dethroned by Mercedes Moné. I would love to see Athena and Toni potentially main eventing a pay-per-view, whether it be probably Double or Nothing. I don't think Toni loses it that quick, but like whatever's after All In, because the whole schedule's like all wonky this year, so I don't know exactly what's after All In, but maybe you could have Toni Toni and Athena main event All In. I would love to see that. Hey, Tony Khan, you want to get back in a lot of our good graces that love women's wrestling? You have Toni and Athena main event All In. Athena is a big enough name. She and Toni Storm were on the PW Insiders top 10. I think Athena was number 10, and Toni Storm was number 1. I want to say Athena was number 10, but she could have been like number 8 or something like that. She could have actually been a little higher, but I know it was Mariah May was in there. You had Willow Nightingale in there. You had a lot of your stars in there. So I would love to see Toni Storm and Athena main eventing that dang show. If you don't do it, you better not be a freaking ex-WWE star is all I'll say. If you pick up somebody else that's not ex-WWE and you allow them, and not ex-TNA either, by the way, because if it's ex-TNA, literally the only one I could think of is like Masha Slamovich, and I don't think you're going to do Masha in the main event if you're not going to do Toni and Mariah. So no, I better see Toni and Athena main eventing, and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. They're going to tear the house down. Everybody gonna be tearing the house down, according to me, man. Why is everybody's house gotta get tore down, man? I think we should keep some houses up, but Toni and Athena are just going to absolutely kill it, and I think Athena should win this, bring her whole minion gimmick on over to the main roster. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and finally we're going to be able to appreciate Athena, because Athena needs to be appreciated. And then speaking of that AEW World Championship, so man, oh man. How the mighty have fallen. I wanted Darby Allin to be the guy to dethrone Jon Moxley. I'm going to be real with you. I don't care about it now. The fact that Jon Moxley has had to deal with so much hate because Darby Allin just wants to be a dang daredevil, I don't care about the guy. I don't care, man. I don't want him to win it. I want Swerve Strickland to win it at Dynasty. I want Swerve to go on to have a big match at All In. Maybe he has a match against MJF, and then maybe MJF dethrones him there because MJF aligns with the Hurt Syndicate. Although I don't want Swerve to lose like back-to-back All Ins. We don't need to do that. I think Swerve should win this All In. I want Swerve to dethrone Jon Moxley because I don't want Darby Allin to do it, because if Darby Allin does it, it's going to really just be a slap in the face of the entire roster. I think this guy does not like wrestling the way the rest of that roster does. I really hate this, though, because Swerve Strickland and Moxley is not going to have the greatest build-up going into Dynasty. Dynasty happens on the 5th. They're going to be having Cope and Moxley are going to be wrestling on, what is that, the 19th. Dude, we're getting 19th, and then we have maybe something happens on Collision this week with Cope, and no, you're not gonna have anything happen with Swerve and Moxley, even though we know Moxley's gonna win. Maybe next Collision you have something set up, and then on the 22nd, and the 26th, the 29th, and the 2nd. That's about what 1, 2, 3, 4 shows. I mean, that should be enough. So yeah, I want to see Swerve Strickland win it. I don't think he will, though. It's like either Swerve. It's crazy because all of my guys I want them to win it. Swerve, Will, and Jay White are literally all gunning for this dang title, and I want to see all 3 of them win it. Sadly, they're not gonna win it though, man, and it hurts me. It hurts me to me poor little core. But I'm gonna just bet on Swerve, man. I think Swerve gets the AEW World Championship from Jon Moxley. If it doesn't happen at Dynasty, maybe he gets into the Owen Hart tournament somehow and he wins it. And he wins that and he faces Swerve Strickland at All In. I would love to see that. But let's go ahead and get into those other 2 matches I didn't get to talk about. The Hangman Page MJF and the Mercedes Moné Momo Watanabe match. So first off, Mercedes Moné, it's not going to be too long because, this match, it was just a really great match. But Mercedes Moné is just somebody that, I don't know what it is, but I said Mercedes versus powerhouses like Water and Rice. It's the exact same thing for Joshi style wrestlers, which is why I'm kind of hurt that Mariah May did get hurt, because I would have loved to see Mariah May and Mercedes Moné Monet have a match like at Dynasty or something like that, because she's also wrestled in the Joshi style as well. And every time Mercedes just wrestles against a Joshi style wrestler, it's just absolutely phenomenal. She wrestled against Asuka, phenomenal. Wrestled against Momo Watanabe, phenomenal. It's just so much AJ Styles around here, man. Oh my goodness. But the match against Hazuki and Azumi, top tier. The match against Hazuki this past year, top tier. She is just so dang amazing when it comes to these kind of wrestlers. And this is why I say that, for me, as much as I love Toni Storm, and I think that Toni Storm is like the greatest women's wrestler of all time, I also put Mercedes Moné in that exact same category, because this woman just is able to wrestle against anybody. Specialists, she got it. Technicians, she's got it. Powerhouses, she's got it. More athletic powerhouses, she's got it. Athletic technicians, she's got it. Athletic specialists, she's got it. The high flying acrobats, she's got it. She's got it against every single type of wrestler, even just straight powerhouses. She's done it. Go look at Charlotte, go look at Nia Jax, go look at Bayley, go look at Becky Lynch, go look at like I said, Asuka, go look at Hazuki, Momo, Azumi, Chris Statlander, Bianca Belair, etc., etc., etc. This woman just puts on absolutely phenomenal matches every single time, and it's why I really cannot wait to see Mercedes Moné versus Billie Starkz next week. I think it happens next week. I can't wait. I thought it was going to happen at Dynasty, but I guess maybe like Mercedes Moné versus Athena at Dynasty could happen. Although I think that should happen at Double or Nothing, because then you could have Athena being set up to go against, well, I guess if you have it at Double or Nothing, then she can't be in the Owen Hart tournament. Okay, that makes sense. Wait, does it happen at Double or Nothing? Are both of them? I'm not exactly sure. I think it does happen at Double or Nothing, though. So, yeah, I guess you would have Athena be at Double or Nothing, win that to go face Toni Storm, and then you could have Toni Storm. But dang, do you want Toni Storm losing back-to-back? Ugh, I don't really want that either. I don't want Tony or Swerve losing back-to-back. They've been carrying the heck out of this dang company, man. We cannot have them lose back-to-back. But I can't wait to see Mercedes versus Athena, man. It's going to be such a beautiful match. 5-star, classic, legendary match, whatever you want to call it, man. Whatever my GM mode terminology you want to use, man. It's just going to be, it's going to be such a beautiful match, man. I cannot wait to see it. And the Hangman Adam Page MJF match is a psychological warfare, and I'm so glad that they really started exposing the way MJF is, that he does care for the fans, because I actually just dropped a little TikTok theory if you want to go check that out. But basically, so this past night we seen that MJF is potentially going to be aligning with MVP and the Hurt Syndicate. Why would he align, or why would they want him, though? It doesn't really seem right? Because he's a guy that's been on the decline. He won the Adam Cole feud, but he got beat up afterwards by All Undisputed Kingdom. He won the Daniel Garcia feud, but got beat up by Daniel Garcia. Then he got chased out the building by Jay White. So why would you want a guy that's been on the decline? Oh, and he just lost to Hangman Adam Page, and he was beating up on a bunch of retirement home folks. Why would you really want that? It just doesn't really seem like a great addition to the Hurt Syndicate. Also, there's another very obvious reason why he shouldn't probably join the Hurt Syndicate. Then again, he is tanning a lot these days, so maybe he'll tan himself a little darker. If he tans any darker, I'm gonna go beat up MJF myself. I'm punching that man in the face. Oh man. But I think what's going to end up happening is they're really going to turn MJF back into a babyface, because I think MJF is just so much better as a face than he is a heel, which is interesting, because then I wonder, what does AEW do? Because you really don't have like a top heel there. And I said that MJF and Hangman Adam Page are like your John Cena, Randy Orton, but Randy Orton was a heel for the most part, and Hangman and John Cena was a face for the most part. So where do we go with this? Do we turn Hangman back to a heel? Do we make Swerve Strickland be that guy? I don't really think so. I think he's kind of better as a tweener. A lot of these guys are just better as tweeners, man, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really know where you go with MJF. But I do think you probably turn him face, though, because then you could have him eventually get the AEW World Championship, get him a bit too big. Oh, my bad. Before he gets that, though, I think he should win the Hangman Adam Page feud, because of the fact that the Hurt Syndicate help him out, and then he goes on to win the AEW World Championship, gets a bit too big-headed, and here's where MVP's plan all came into play. That he was always planning on Bobby Lashley or Shelton Benjamin, whichever one, probably Bobby Lashley, but although I would hope it would be Shelton Benjamin, because I really do love Shelton. I feel like he deserves his AEW World Championship shot. I think what's going to start happening is they start really picking on MJF a lot, kind of throwing him out there to be by himself and not really helping him. And we're starting to see that, they're rejecting him. And obviously that's a very big thing with MJF, that he doesn't do well with rejection. I was going to say erection. But I think what's gonna happen is that they're gonna start turning on him a lot. We're gonna see the rejection really start affecting MJF. The crowd's gonna start getting behind MJF a lot more, and I think that he should win the Hurt Syndicate feud. I think he should also get helped by one Hangman Adam Page. It seems weird, I know. But I mean, Hangman Adam Page does not hate MJF. I think he sees a lot of himself in MJF. He's also like 5-6 years older than him, so he kind of is like in a sense like that bigger brother that kind of sees their little brother going through a lot of stuff, a lot of the same stuff that they went through. Because if Hangman really hated MJF tried to light Hangman on fire. If the next time I see you, I'm putting you in a body bag. Okay, I'm putting you in a body bag and I'm burying you myself, and I'm gonna light you on fire. I'm going all Hank Voight with it. Okay, my hat started falling, man. I got really poofy hair, so it wasn't really a bother, but I was kind of looking like T.I., man. I ain't like that so much. Hey, it's me, Goku. That's gonna be a thing on the podcast now, y'all. Y'all gonna randomly start hearing me say, "Hey, it's me, Goku." And oh man, don't let me get the voice down because it's gonna be all bad. Oh my gosh. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I think they're gonna end up. If Hangman Page really did hate, not Swerve, he definitely hated Swerve for a while, burned that man's house down. See, that's real hate right there. I don't think he hates MJF. I think he wants MJF to go back to the good guy that he was, to be the to be our scumbag. So I think that's what could end up happening, is that Hangman helps out MJF, and then we get one more match between these guys, a clean finish at All In next year. A lot of us want to see it this year. Probably not going to happen this year. A lot of us want to see Hangman versus Swerve this year. Probably not going to happen this year either. Maybe we can get Hangman versus Swerve in like 2027. I would love to see that. I think 2026, though, we're going to be getting MJF versus one Hangman Adam Page. Also, there's another reason why I don't want to see Darby versus John Moxley this year, because if we do get Toni versus Athena, that should the main event over John Moxley versus Darby Allin, because the feel-good story, they're going to give it to freaking Darby Allin. I just don't think he deserves that either. So, yeah, I'm back on my Darby Allin hate train. Darby, just know this: I don't hate you as much as I hate Tessa Blanchard. So you're really only hated because you kind of just got so much hate going to my guy John Moxley. I don't really actually hate Darby Allin. Let me make that clear as well. If Darby Allin ever happens to hear this, probably didn't hear to this part right here. Although then again, that Daredevil probably did. I don't actually hate Darby Allin. Okay, I don't. I just don't like what Darby Allin's done. Other than that, I don't hate the guy by any means. I don't even know the guy to hate the guy. Yeah, I just don't like the whole going away from wrestling, doing the Mount Everest, or the Mount Everest thing twice in a row. It's just, it's annoying to me. But got a few more things on the docket to talk about today. Let me make sure I did run through everything else I needed to run through, because actually, in the very, very first recording, I actually forgot everything. I can get rid of all that. But yeah, no, we got to talk about a look ahead to Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. And then we'll get on to the look ahead to Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, if that is actually going to be the thing. And then we'll talk about Jay versus Gunther last. Actually, no, you know what? Let's jump into Jay versus Gunther first, man, because I'm on the hate train. So let me just stay on the hate train, man. Check it. Choo. Jay versus Gunther. This should not be the main event of Night 1. I am sorry. This feud is a whole pack of ass. Pardon my language. I know I've cussed twice this episode already. I don't want to be cussing too much, but this feud sucks, man. This is the worst dang storyline going into WrestleMania that I have ever seen in my lifetime. Personally, I don't remember how bad the Alberto Del Rio one was. When I did see that the Alberto Del Rio one, I was pretty young when I seen it, so I don't actually know how bad it was. But this one. Yo, what was the 10 weeks of hell? I thought you was putting Jey Uso through it, not us through it, man. My goodness, I have been bored. Oh my God, I have actually fallen asleep one time during the dang Jey Uso Gunther stuff. That's how boring it was, man. I ain't know I had to see Gunther just be cuddling Jey Uso every single dang week. And at this point, why does Jey Uso just not get like eyes on the back of his head? Like, get security, something like that, bro. Because this guy literally just keeps popping up behind him. Like, do you not just watch your back? You were watching your back when the YS6 was going around over here with the yeet and all that stuff. So like, I don't get this, man. I really don't understand why this storyline is as bad as it is. I don't think it's because we've seen this before, because honestly, when we wrote you, I can't even remember their last storylines. I just remember like their matches and that's it. I don't remember the storylines going into it. But I don't understand why this is so bad. I thought a face versus heel should be able to carry for at least a few weeks, but then again, why I don't know, man. Maybe it's the same thing as Damian Priest and Finn Balor, where it's like it's just 8 weeks with no match in between. I feel like we could have had like maybe something happening. Where the heck is Ludwig Kaiser, man? Isn't he in part of Imperium? They both got the Imperium graph. Him and Gunther. Why the heck does like Ludwig not come out and jump Jay? Now I'm assuming at some point it should happen, right? But then again, he's locked into a whole feud with Penta and I think Pete Dunne, and I think he's gonna be working with El Gabriel. So I don't know. I really don't know. I just don't want this to main event night one anymore. I think this thing sucks. I would rather see either one of the triple threats main event. This match though, I think it could just be the night one opener. I think Jey Uso could just come out and start the show. We're all confused on why he's coming out because we thought he was going to be the main event. They could even say like he's going to be the main event, and then Jey Uso just calls out Gunther and tells him to get his ass out here, that he's not waiting anymore, that you've been putting me through hell and I'm not waiting any longer. I want that belt. I need that belt. Yeet. Oh, no, my bad. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. And then he just goes into the ring and starts doing the it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos, and all that good stuff. And then he wins the match, and we ain't even got to worry about this dang stupid feud ever again, man. Did Jey Uso look at, man, I'm not blaming this on Jey at all. I'm blaming this on Gunther, man. This guy has a whole pack of boring. But did Jey Uso and potentially Gunther kind of ruin the World Heavyweight title? Because this was supposed to be the main event. I wanted this to be the main event. I wanted the World Heavyweight title the main event. I wanted whoever Gunther was going to face to be the main event. I just don't know going forward, unless we get like a super duper megastar to get that belt. Do I want to see the World Heavyweight title? Do I even really want to see it on my TV anymore? I really don't want to see Gunther on my TV anymore. I don't know. I feel like this kind of did hurt the credibility of the World Heavyweight title. So, yeah. I think maybe the best scenario, though, would have been just having Jey Uso not pick it until maybe like a week before Elimination Chamber or something like that. You could have done that. And then you only have, like 7 weeks to build it up and not like 10, 11 weeks. It's just, yeah, no. But speaking of building stuff up, the long-term storytelling that I think is happening with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. So I made a TikTok, and I am sticking with this, man, because I have said now for a few months that CM Punk versus Roman Reigns are going to be the main event of WrestleMania 42, not of WrestleMania 41. They better not give this. They better not do this as CM Punk's main event. Please have the women main event. My goodness, I need to see women being, treated properly somewhere, man. Ugh, it's so disgusting, man. But yeah, no, I think CM Punk versus Roman Reigns are going to be main eventing night 2 of WrestleMania 42, because I think Roman Reigns are going to get that Undisputed Championship back. How's that all going to happen? I got Cody Rhodes versus Cena this year. I mean, obviously it's going to be happening. What the heck? I have Cena defeating Cody Rhodes this year at WrestleMania 41. He's going to become the 17-time world champion. I think Cody Rhodes is eventually going to win King of the Ring. What's going to happen then? Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam. But the first time it happened, though, at WrestleMania, you had all these other folks getting involved, and that's how Cody won, but The Rock didn't get involved. The Rock said, you know what? The Rock got to get involved because I'm The Rock. I'm the final boss. I was about to say, yeah. That's not The Rock. That's L.A. Knight. Yeah. But you're going to have The Rock get involved. I actually did a pretty good year that time. Hey, man, shout out to me, bro. Maybe I could be the voice actor for WWE 2K25. Hey, it's me, Goku. I can do Goku. But yeah, you had The Rock get more involved this time, and then that eventually sets up Cody Rhodes versus The Rock at Bad Blood. John Cena tries to get involved, doesn't get involved, one of the two. And you have The Rock lose that match to Cody Rhodes, and then this starts causing some friction between The Rock and John Cena. He starts slapping him up a little bit, telling him that what's he doing? Why is he not helping? Why is he not following the play and all that stuff? Starting to cause John Cena to turn more into a face. And then eventually John Cena, very similar to how I thought what did I say that was going to be? I said someone's going to be getting smacked up and all that stuff with AEW. I actually forgot now. Whatever. Whoever the heck I said, y'all remember what I said. But I think John Cena ends up officially turning back to a face. Maybe we get like that John Cena Rock match at Crown Jewel. Let's do it there. Let's just have the freaking match in a Saudi show, so I don't gotta watch it because I don't even care for Rock versus John Cena Part 3. Didn't care for Part 1 or Part 2. Did not understand the hype around it. I never cared for The Rock as a wrestler. But then we eventually get John Cena going back to a face. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, and maybe John Cena's last match, something like that. I don't know. Wherever you want to do it at. You can even do a Survivor Series so Cody Rhodes holds the belt for longer than a month, because I do think whenever Cody beats John Cena in a clean match, very similar to how I think I said about MJF, I think you have Cody defeat John Cena in a clean match, and then you have Cody eventually lose that belt to Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns like, you know what, man, I lost my main event opportunity last year because I was being humble. I'm over here acting like, oh, y'all, man, I had a championship a championship rematch clause. I could have just stated that and got into the dang got into the dang Cody versus Cena match, and potentially just whooped both their asses and got the belt back. But you know what? This year, I'm done being humble. Cody, I want my rematch. Cody faces Roman Reigns at, let's say, Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber, one of the two. And then, you know what? Actually, do it at Elimination Chamber because I think you would have CM Punk lose the Royal Rumble that year again. And CM Punk's like, you know what? I'm doing the same thing as Roman Reigns. Like, he's not actually going to say that, but he's like, I am not going to be wasting my time going to Elimination Chamber. I just want to cash in my favor against Roman Reigns after Roman Reigns does defeat Cody Rhodes for that belt, and then would have Roman Reigns versus CM Punk be at WrestleMania 42 as the main event. Somebody asked me, okay, well, what do we do about the Elimination Chamber? We have our World Heavyweight title. Have a World Heavyweight title match at the Elimination Chamber instead of having a freaking stupid number one contenders match. The same thing we do at Royal Rumble. Heck, even do it with the women's side of things so that, you know, we do it with both of them instead of just forcing these stupid number one contenders matches. I think they're just completely stupid. So yeah, no, I think that's what happened. That's what should happen with that match right there. And then, I think that's the whole story of this whole Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk triple threat match that doesn't really make any sense. And there's no way that the past year you've been culminating to this big match right here. I feel like that's just not the play. So yeah, we also did hear CM Punk say that he was going to be likely meeting Roman Reigns at some point in time when he was going on the incline up the mountain and Roman Reigns on the decline down the mountain. Well, now it would kind of be like the reverse though, because Roman Reigns would be the undisputed WWE champion on the incline up the mountain, and CM Punk would be trying to find a way to get up the dang mountain, but he's really on the decline because he lost the dang Royal Rumble and ain't really done much throughout the year. Also, shout out to my guy YT_ TO Sales over on TikTok. That's my dog right there. He did also have a potential Roman Reigns versus CM Punk feud that could happen in 2025. I don't think it's going to happen, me personally, but if it does happen, I could see that also being a thing that leads into eventually Roman Reigns, or eventually CM Punk cashing in that favor on Roman Reigns to get that main event shot. But now we got to talk about that other triple threat of Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. Also, we do have one more thing after this, like the Ring of Honor stuff. But this right here, I did not want this match at all. Y'all know I was adamant about not wanting this match. I don't know why the heck we had to get it. But now I am on my hands and knees praying that we get this match, because if they do what I think they're going to do and they have Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley be at like Saturday night's main event or something like that, and they have it be like a number one contendership match against Io Sky because Rhea Ripley says, you cheated me out of my match, you made me lose, so now I feel like you owe me the number one contenders match so that I can get to WrestleMania because I deserve to be at WrestleMania because I never should have lost my title. And Bianca Belair is like, oh, well, let's go then, BITCH, let's go then. You ain't bigger than me, you ain't the big dog, I'm the big dog, even though Roman Reigns is really the big dog. Then we have both of them had that freaking match at Saturday night's main event. Bianca's never beaten Rhea. You know what's going to happen? Bianca ain't going to beat Rhea at Saturday night's main event. I got to see Rhea versus Io at freaking WrestleMania, which should have already probably been I guess it probably should have been a match to begin with. Maybe you could have had Io. Well, actually, Io should have been in Elimination Chamber, but because of Rhea, yeah, that didn't happen. I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that does not happen. Now I'm like just praying for a match that I didn't want to happen. And it's so funny because I was saying for like so long that I hope we get Rhea and Io this year at WrestleMania. So I feel like I just kind of spoke this match into existence if it actually does happen, which really, really sucks, man. I got to stop kind of just speaking things into existence. I got to just stop making theories and all that stuff, because I feel like when they happen, it's always like cool, but then like my guys get hurt because of it. Like I predicted that John Cena was going to turn heel a while back, and what happened? Now my guy Cody Rhodes is going to lose his dang belt because of John Cena, man. I hate it so much, but I really hope that we just do this triple threat at WrestleMania. I think it should also be the main event of night one because it is for a women's world championship. Although there is like the very real argument there that shouldn't Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton main event. I'm going to say no, because I think Tiffany Stratton is a whole pack of mid, and I don't want to see her main eventing. I think Bianca versus Rhea versus Io would tear the house down. Even if I don't think that Rhea is the greatest wrestler in the world, I think she's just pretty dang good. But Bianca and Io are going to tear the house down regardless because they are just that dang good. And honestly, honestly, I really hope it's just Bianca versus Io. I really hope that like that's what it is. Maybe do like Bianca versus Rhea Saturday night's main event. Bianca does beat Rhea, and then Rhea's got to go sit her happy self down somewhere, and we get Bianca versus Io in an absolutely fantastic 5-star match that Bianca and Io will always put on because they are literally just wrestling soulmates. But I'm really just kind of hoping for the triple threat to happen at this point. We don't even got to worry about this number one contendership match because I don't want to even see it because I'm going to be clutching my pearls the entire time, scared for Bianca Belair that she's going to lose the match. And if she loses, if she loses, let me tell y'all right now, the way that I will come in here and rave about a Kyle Fletcher Kenny Omega match is the same way that I will drop a 5-hour episode flaming Triple H. Flaming. If you've ever seen me on TikTok, you know that I got a lot of things out for Triple H, and I will have no problem just spewing as much hate and negativity as I can toward that man if Bianca Belair loses her number one contendership match. So yeah, but let's talk about Ring of Honor. Okay, so when it comes to Ring of Honor, like I said earlier, it does look like Ring of Honor is kind of becoming AEW's NXT in a sense that we're kind of seeing it be more of a developmental brand. That's probably why Athena is going to be getting moved up to the main roster now, why maybe Billy Starks is going to eventually get that Ring of Honor championship. I think she might even be the person to eventually dethrone Mercedes Moné for that belt. I think Kyle Fletcher would also, I think like there's a potential that Kyle Fletcher might actually go down to Ring of Honor as well because he's someone that still does need to develop a bit too. I think he's a fantastic wrestler, but he has so many areas that he needs to improve in: the charisma, the mic work, a bit of the character work as well. So I think him going down to Ring of Honor would honestly help it out a lot. I think him and Billy Starks will be able to carry the heck out of Ring of Honor. But I think there's also another way that we could go about this, and that's Jon Moxley going down to Ring of Honor and kind of pulling a Nick Nemeth, Mustafa Ali, where they went over to TNA, not obviously, by choice, but by choice in a sense, but they got let go from WWE. So I could see Jon Moxley, because AEW and Ring of Honor are connected, and this might become a developmental brand. Maybe after he loses the belt, he could go to Ring of Honor, and he could be the guy to uplift Ring of Honor. We don't do the whole Death Riders character. We can go away from that, I think, at this point. Or we can kind of still keep it, but not like the same way we did with all these boring people. Please get some more interesting people this time. But we could have him go down there, and he could really get the Ring of Honor championship and try to uplift it as much as he can, because it'll be another big name. Maybe we don't have Athena lose the Ring of Honor championship so quickly. But I think Kyle Fletcher and Billy Stark should be the two that are running Ring of Honor for like the next at least like 2 years. I think maybe you don't have them go. Well, no, I think Kyle Fletcher. I think Kyle Fletcher should definitely be, if he gets the Ring of Honor championship, hold it for like at least a year. If Billy Starks gets it, hold it for at least like 6 to 8 months. I think they could do amazing things in Ring of Honor. But I will say this, before we talk about any of that stuff, we got to talk about what the heck is even happening with Ring of Honor, because I'm seeing NXT on YouTube. It's got like 84,000 subs, and they're showing all the dang old stuff. I'm getting full episodes. I'm seeing WCW now be on YouTube, and within like 6 days, they already have dang near 200,000 subs, and it's a lot of the old stuff, and you get like some big main events. Why is Tony Khan not doing the same thing with Ring of Honor? Why is he not showing off AEW Rampage? That'd be really cool to see him like just drop the whole AEW Rampage vault onto YouTube, drop the whole Ring of Honor vault onto YouTube. I'm sorry, Ring of Honor is not getting a TV deal. It's not getting a TV deal until it gets more traction behind it. And Ring of Honor, I'm going to be real with you right now, I've tried to watch it. I have actually tried to watch it. It is the most unwatchable wrestling product that is out right now, man. Athena is the only thing that I like watching there. Don't get me wrong. Commander, Hologram, Blake Christian, not Blake Martin, Blake Christian, Lee Johnson, Shane Taylor Promotions besides Shane Taylor. A lot of Red Velvet, and Billy Starks, obviously, and Diamante. A lot of interesting wrestlers there. Oh, and then you have Big Show there, too. Get Big Show the heck out of here, dude. He is so trash. But you have a lot of interesting wrestlers there, but it's just not an interesting product. The way, whatever the booking is over there, it just absolutely sucks, which is why I would love to see Kenny Omega be down there kind of doing the booking, or you could see Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe go down there, since they are both Ring of Honor legends. I think the whole American Dragon thing even started in Ring of Honor. So I would love to see both of these guys go down there, potentially be able to, do something with Ring of Honor. Maybe Tony Khan just lets them have all hands on deck for it, and they just completely control it. And it's not Tony Khan being involved in it at all. I think that would be best for business. But I need to see Ring of Honor's vault being put on YouTube, man. There's so much history there with the Ring of Honor. You have Samoa Joe's time there. You have Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong's time there. I mean, Undisputed Kingdom in general. You have Adam Cole there as well. You have Hangman Adam Page who has time there, and you always talk about it, but nobody can see it. You have Cody Rhodes' time there. You have I'm blanking on somebody else. Christopher Daniels' time there as well. Like, just so many people's time there, and yet we can't see it because it's nowhere to be found. I don't know why Tony Khan would not just put the vault on there. I don't know why Tony Khan, whoever the heck the marketing is for AEW, if it's Tony Khan in general, if he has like a big part in it, I don't know why the marketing is so trash. I really don't know why. I see social media clips go around and you barely even show anything off. It's not going to get anybody engaged into the content. I see the fact that all these other companies have all their vaults somewhere. You have WWE that has all of its Raw, SmackDown, and NXT vault on Netflix. It's starting to put a lot of its NXT vault on YouTube for its American audience that obviously doesn't have NXT on Netflix. They ain't got a VPN. I see WCW doing this. I don't know. Is WCW owned by WWE now? I don't really know, but I think they are. I think ECW. Oh no, ECW is on. They got a Peacock deal, I think, and they're on Netflix as well. So it's like I see all these things somewhere, and I see AEW just still not doing that. I gotta pay $16 to $20 for Max. I gotta pay $50 for a pay-per-view. Gotta pay for Max. Now I don't even get all the dang pay-per-views. Only 2019. Now you want me to pay for Ring of Honor, like the Ring of Honor Club as well? You want me to pay for a AEW Plus subscription? No, dude, I'm not paying for all this stuff. Nobody's doing that. I'm sorry to tell you that. We are in 2025. The economy has gone to absolute shit. Nobody wants to be paying X amount of money for all this stuff. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not paying for no dang pay-per-views, man. I will go watch it with somebody else that's paid for. I'll go watch it on like a Twitch stream or something like that, or I'll go and put like $5 with a bunch of folks and we gonna pay for like that. I'm not paying no $50 for no dang pay-per-view. It's not the most money in the world. Honestly, I can pay for that. I'm not doing it though, not in this economy, and I'm definitely not gonna be paying for no dang Ring of Honor vault. Or for Ring of Honor Club to watch nowadays episodes of Ring of Honor. No, the product is absolutely atrocious. I'm not doing it. Sorry, Tony Khan. Put the vault somewhere. Maybe everybody will watch it for free, and then we'll start liking Ring of Honor a bit more. And you could really help out Athena as well, because if you showed off a lot of Athena, which NXT shows off a lot of their old stuff, but is also posting like when like the past year or so's like big main event pay-per-views of like Braun Breaker and Trick Williams and Ilya Dragunov, trying to make their star power even more. Do the same thing with Athena. Do the same thing with I don't know. Maybe if you get Kyle Fletcher over there, you do the same thing with Kyle Fletcher. Like, do the same thing with your stars. Show off some of Red Velvet stuff. Show off some of Billy Stark stuff, because she's going to be a future. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I guess Tony Khan just doesn't really care for his stars. And this kind of just goes back to the whole women's thing, because why? I hate to make it about this, but it's like, dude, you have the biggest women's, like you have the best women's champion right now in wrestling in Athena. You don't want to show her off more? You don't want to get people behind her more? Really? Like this, like dude, do you really just, like, when people say, does he not care about women? Like, do you not? Because yeah, you could rave about them in a post media scrum, but then look at how you do a lot of your women's roster. That, in my opinion, is one of the most talented, if not the most talented women's roster. You have a freaking stacked roster, dude. You have Chris Statlander, Toni Storm, Mariah May, Mercedes Moné. Technically, you have Mina Shirakawa. Technically, you have Athena. You have Willow Nightingale. You have Julia Hart. You have Jamie Hayter. You have Megan Bain. You have Penelope Ford, who's coming up. You have Thunder Rosa, who's still doing her thing. You have a very talented roster. I probably forgot some wrestlers in there. My bad if I did. You got a really talented roster, and you're not showing, like it just feels like you're not doing anything to help them. You're not putting them on the main event of pay-per-views. You're not giving Athena, the eyes that she deserves by putting a lot of her matches on the Ring of Honor. You're not making a separate Ring of Honor page, or even posting it to the current Ring of Honor page that has like 500,000 subscribers. Like, why are you not doing that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's everything on the docket for today, man. I am beat. I really hope that this episode was also able to get, properly recorded this time. because I'm gonna be so pissed if I have to record this a third time. No, actually be a fourth time. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm absolutely beat, man. Y'all have a great day. I will probably have this a little bit out. I'll probably have this like out a little later in the day than it normally would be out. But I definitely hope y'all did enjoy this episode. If you're listening to this on Spotify, the likes and the ratings definitely help. If you're listening to this on YouTube, the likes and the subs help. Like I said earlier, if you're on Spotify and you want to watch the video version, go hit the description. The link is right there for the YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you want to listen to this on Spotify because you want to close your phone, but you want to be able to still listen to it. You don't want to pay for no YouTube TV and all that stuff or whatever the heck it is, YouTube Premium. The Spotify link is right there. But for now, y'all, that's it. I'm out. Peace. Y'all have a great day, everybody. Bye. Yeah.